Hola, mi gente. Welcome back to another episode of the Corazon Chronicles podcast. I'm Jannese.
I'm Ray.
And today we are going to have a smorgasbord of topics.
Yes, it's going to be an exciting episode. We've got a couple of steamy topics, and of course, we're going to revisit the old Reddit thread of "Am I the asshole?" So
I'm having way too much fun with Reddit, for real. Before we dive into today's episode, just want to remind you to subscribe, share, tune in, review, do all the things to help us grow. We've been getting incredible feedback from you, and so we want to keep this train moving along and expanding what we talk about. So DM us on Twitter, Instagram, follow us on YouTube, do all the things.
yeah, I love the feedback that we've been getting. It seems like everybody is getting a kick out of the show. So this is awesome. I love it.
Yes. Okay, so first topic for today's show.
Yes, ma'am.
The buzzword of, I feel like, 2023 is narcissism.
Gosh, yes. I know. I can't even spell narcissism. So,
And I know this came up because both of us have been consuming relationship content, through different podcasts and
Right.
whatnot. And it seems like on social media, there's just a lot of people who are attempting to become amateur psychologists and like diagnose everybody that they're dating. There's a bunch of influencers now that are like talking about narcissism and love bombing and gaslighting and like all these terms that people swear they know what the hell they're talking about, but
do they really?
chances are they don't.
Right.
And one of the things that has been on my mind is this topic of love bombing, which is typically associated with the discussion around narcissism.
Yeah, when you brought that up, the love bombing thing, honestly, I think I've been kind of out of the loop on. I mean, I feel like I've heard it a little bit, but when I heard the term, I like instantly went to like photo bombing, and I was trying to like put them together. But you broke it down for me a little bit. So, but this will be my second time hearing it, so I guess I'll kind of weigh in after I hear.
Yes. So love
breakdown.
bombing is associated with people who are on the narcissistic personality disorder spectrum. Okay. And
Is that actual disorder? Like
it
to
is
be a narcissist?
It's an actual disorder, and apparently it's the only mental illness that has no cure because a narcissist is unable to actually like accept their responsibility.
Jeez.
And that's what makes them a narcissist, and so they will not accept medical help.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. It's starting to sound like being a narcissist isn't that bad. It sounds like I could just go through life without any consequences. Hold on, guys. I'm a narcissist.
Yeah, it kind of
I
feels
don't know
like it's
what
an
I'm doing, and I won't take responsibility. So great.
It's problematic, right? In and of itself.
That's hilarious.
But the topic of love bombing comes up, and basically, I'm reading now from Insider the definition.
Okay.
It is when one person is overly attentive at the beginning of a relationship so that they can gain control and manipulate you. Now, the degree to which a person love bombs you is like abnormally strong and intense. Like you meet and a week later they're like, I want to marry you, let's move in together, like you are the center of my universe. I've never experienced anything so incredible in my life, you're the most gorgeous person I've ever set my eyes on. And it all happens very quickly and very intensely.
Okay. This actually reminds me of some of my mom's friends. I think it's a running joke in the gay community. My uncle's gay and stuff like that, but they say like, lesbians move fast, right? It's like a thing. I'm sure there's
my
some of you out there
lesbian friends
know.
have also told me.
Yeah, it's like a thing that they all know. So as soon as I hear that, I'm like, maybe a lot of lesbians are narcissists because, as you folks know, we partake in the 90-day fiance, and there's a lesbian couple on there, and the one chick is moving to the trying to move to the UK without even letting the girl in the UK really know. She just like went to visit her, and then she's like, I love you so much, even though it's been a few months. And then she's like, by the way, my lease ends in a month and I don't plan on renewing it. Can I come live with you? And the girl's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, this is crazy.
So the love bombing is basically intended to like create this really, really intense bond between the people right away.
Yes.
With the ultimate goal of the narcissist then like
gaining something.
Yes.
It's like maybe monetary gain or some type of status or
exactly. And
I feel like
the way that
celebrities go through that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people in Hollywood are narcissistic in general, and so there's definitely probably a like pervasive group of people in that arena. But basically what happens is like once the love bomber, aka the narcissist, like has you in their grips, they become abusive, they become controlling, they become manipulative, and they use the fact that like you're everything to me. Why would you want to spend time with anybody else?
They get in and then they flip
and they isolate you
into who they really are.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So that's like, okay, like split personality or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize. I thought maybe they were doing it to like sucker somebody in, and because I at first when I was hearing you say it, I was like, well, it sounds like those things could happen for people. You know, if you have like a quick connection with somebody, I'm sure that I don't know about the moving in part, but I mean, I'm sure that people have said I love you or felt love and felt like a low key obsession with somebody within a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure that does happen. But if there's something to gain, and then once they get in, they change, and like you said, they try to isolate people and stuff.
Yeah.
There's I'll have to pull it up for the next episode, but there's a behavior wheel. And it's something I've learned about, and there's a certain amount of behaviors. I think there's like 6 or 8 behaviors on there, and it's for like domestic abuse and stuff like that. And one of those behaviors is isolation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said that, I was thinking about that one thing on the wheel, and can the narcissist love bombing thing, could it be in a positive thing, or is it just they get in and they turn into something negative?
It's never a positive thing because it's the bond is used to manipulate and control and coerce and like take advantage of,
Heard.
right?
Okay.
So basically, another thing that this article says is like love bombers also make it hard for their partner to leave the relationship because the abuser can come back with extravagant apologies or symbols of love and attempt to guilt their partner into staying. So there's just like a lot of emotional manipulation that's associated with this affection that's being given. It's not like unconditional love, like you are the best thing that's ever happened to me, but
Right.
if we were to break up, like I'm not going to ruin your fucking life. It's like, bitch, you better be with me or I'm going to ruin your life.
Or I'm going to kill myself.
Yes.
I know people use that all the time.
Yes.
I mean, it's like we were just talking about that with your mom. Shout out to Mama Torres out there. But yeah, like it's crazy the lengths that they go to control somebody and stuff.
Yeah.
So what would you have you ever experienced love bombing, or have you had any friends that kind of went through that? Because you have some friends that have, they're entrepreneurs and stuff. They have something to lose, I guess, right? So.
I think I've definitely been love bombed. I would say like one of my last like situationships, it was like that. It was like very like, oh my God, you're amazing, you're incredible. And then it's like, okay, but then you ghost for like 2 weeks.
But did they know what you did? Like, did
no.
So there wasn't really. So what were they? I guess. All right.
It was just for the physical benefits.
They just wanted you in there,
you know. It's just like, but when it was convenient for them, not like in a mutual. I want to spend time together in any way, shape, or fashion. It just felt very like, I'm gonna tell you all these things that you want to hear in order to, break down your walls, and then it's like I'm gonna take advantage of you, and then it's like I'm out.
Yeah.
I think that happens to a lot of people.
I think so too. Do you think that it happens? Is there like a certain age group that happens? Because I feel like there's like not really like 16 or 18 to 21-year-olds that are really love bombing each other too much. I guess I feel like it'd be like folks that are kind of grown and.
I don't know,
right?
because the couple on 90 Day Fiance the other way, where it's the dude who's moving to the Philippines and they're like living on FaceTime 24/7.
Yeah, those are kids.
That for me feels very much like a narcissistic, codependent relationship
right?
where she was love bombing. I mean, they both, I think, are. They're both like very unhealthy mentally.
Yeah, they're on FaceTime 24/7 while they sleep. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like using the jealousy as the excuse as to why I need to fucking watch you 24/7. Like that all feels very much in that realm.
And they're both.
They're like 20 somethings.
Yeah, 21, something like that. And they're both. She's really bad about projecting her insecurities about getting cheated on in the past. I think she said something crazy like she got cheated on 10 times by the same guy or something. Yeah. You guys need to tune into this stuff. I mean, it's shameless crazy. Plug for the 90 day. It's I had to obviously I got into it once I got into a relationship. But well, now that I'm in it, I'm hooked. I'm not gonna lie. So
it's just crazy. Like I find it fascinating to see like how people just relate to each other and all the different ways that relationships can manifest both positively and negatively. Now, the thing that frustrates me about the whole love bombing conversation,
let's go,
comes from social, and I feel like everybody's just like it's all love bombing. If he's too into you, if it feels like he's a simp. If he's like going out of his way for you, oh, it's love bombing. And
Oh,
I'm
so
like,
like if the guy gets flowers for you, like or something like that, it's kind of like they're making everybody feel like there's an ulterior motive with everything
yes,
somebody does.
that's the thing. And for me, I'm just like, that's hella
That's
fucking toxic
toxic. Yes,
narrative
that's
because it's
very
like,
toxic.
so nobody can now do anything out of the genuineness of like wanting to build a relationship with you, or it has to be on some fucking timeline that who decided like how quickly you can say things like I love you, or you move in, or you get married. Like I know people who have met 3 months later they're married and they're still together 10 years later, and then I know people who waited like 7 years to get married and they're divorced a month later because it's just like
It sounds like to me with that, that sounds a lot to me like some type of battle against love, because love is really in right now. It's starting to really take over, not just like all the hippie kumbaya, it's all love, but it really is all love, and everybody's kind of gravitating towards that, you know. So there are going to be people that go against that, and I don't know. I think that's very toxic too, you know. But that also sounds like people that are projecting and that are, you know, class one
I think that's what it is.
self-sabotagers, and now they're out there self-sabotaging other people, right? And
Yeah.
planting this seed of like, man, I met this guy or I met this chick, you know, they're great, had great connection, stuff like that. I kind of want to do something for them. I might want to like leave flowers at her car, at her job or something, and now all of a sudden now you're like this like fucking weird stalker guy. You're
Yeah.
like, dude, I like the guy, but I came out to my car and like, fuck, this guy knows where I work, and I don't know, you know, it could be like a really sweet thing, and then all of a sudden he gets blocked. He's like, you know, damn, I'm a fucking weirdo now.
I
It's
think
like, I don't
honestly,
know.
I fell into that mentality a little bit like when we first met because you
Ooh.
were so genuine in your like intentions. You
Mm.
you were like there was no question in my mind that you were like about it. You were like, I want to be with you,
Did I
girl.
love bomb you?
I was kind of worried
Oh,
about it.
dang, now I feel gross.
No, but it's just like I guess I could just got so used to like dudes doing the bare minimum
Uh-huh.
and just like not being expressive about how they felt and just always having a question of like, where do I stand?
Right.
That with you, that was never the thing. And I was just like, is this normal?
Mm-hmm.
And it should be normal because we should fucking interact with people in a way that doesn't leave them confused and gaslit
Oh man.
and all the other things. But I think I don't even know if people know how to like differentiate love bombing versus genuine desire.
Oh God, yeah, that's a tough one, right? Because now, you know, if people feel like they have something that they have to offer or something that someone's going to want to take advantage of, it's 100% right to have your guard up. But I would be very cautious with it, and I wouldn't let it. I would try my best not to let it cost me a chance at love. And you know, if someone's doing some stuff like that and showing you some gestures, and it feels a little strong, maybe pump their brakes. It's okay to pump their brakes. They're caught up in you. They're caught up in what they're trying to do to try to swoon and all that stuff, which is just normal. And if they come across a little strong, but you still kind of like them, keep your guard up. You know, I mean, you can always keep that love bombing thing in the back of your mind. That's a self-preservation instinct, right? So I think that always keep that in the back of your mind, but don't put it on other people. You know, don't instantly think that because he showed up to dinner with flowers that he's trying to love bomb you.
Yeah.
He might just be trying to be a good guy and, you know, whatever. But if the guy's like after the first date's texting you good night, sweet dreams, a good morning, beautiful, how'd you sleep, all that stuff, that's too much.
He's
Yeah,
not
that's
though.
but like the first day after, no way. You got to let it chill.
But for me, you know, I think how I would
I move
differentiate.
different, so I let it marinate, and I'm like, no, I'll you know.
Like you being genuine from the get and just like if you're about it. What I think would be a red flag for me is like, let's say you were doing something that I felt was just like, okay, this is too much. Like I'm not ready to meet your mom, let's say, something like that, right?
Sure.
How you react to that would tell me, are you love bombing me? Are you a narcissist? Or are you just like
How so?
trying to figure shit out?
What
Like
would be
if
the
you were to
reactions?
get pissed off and be like, oh, well, I guess if you're not going to meet my mom, then I shouldn't even bother being in this relationship because there's no future here.
Yeah.
You know, if that's your reaction, then I'm like, okay, pump the brakes, sir. There's something fucking wrong with
Trying
you.
to force the relationship.
It's the coercion for me. It's the manipulation. It's the shaming. It's the guilting.
Guilt trips, yes.
That shit. Hella toxic, probably a narcissist.
Right.
But if your reaction is like, okay, that's cool, babe. Like, you just let me know when you're ready for that. You know,
Yeah.
I already know, like, you're fabulous and I can't wait for her to meet you, but I also want to do it on your terms.
Right.
If that's your reaction, not a narcissist, y'all. It's a green flag.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. If someone offers, stuff like that or whatever, but they put it to you with options of an
Yes or
escape
no.
plan and stuff. If they
Mhm.
always give you an option on like a way out, I think that's a class act right there for
Yeah.
them being genuine. So yeah, I definitely believe that. Now we were talking about the love bombing thing. I'm thinking that maybe I love bomb your mom when she was here. It was like, right away with the hugs, and we were.
Love bomb my mom.
I mean, I got you guys flowers when you came back from the convention.
But that's cute because you've done that already for me, so I wasn't like, oh, this is weird.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was there. I was getting flowers for you, and then I'm like, I don't know what I should do. So I got you the one that had roses, and I got her the one that was like just like the daisies or something, because I felt like that was very like
neutral.
Yeah, like not I was thinking about not love bombing, even though I didn't really know about love bombing. That's hilarious.
Have the self-awareness to question your behaviors, you're probably not a narcissist,
Okay.
because a narcissist does not.
You don't factor in other people.
Is somebody gonna think I'm a narcissist? They don't fucking think about that. So
Or they're the best narcissists in the world and they're trying to get by.
there are different types too, which I found out that I was actually married to a narcissist, but he was a covert narcissist, which is somebody who, like, from all external appearances is like super normal, but then is a fucking like Dr. Jekyll Hyde.
Like
personality behind
obsessed with
closed
himself
doors.
and stuff?
Yes,
Or-
just like completely like lacking empathy for other people.
Right, you did say that. He never really cared about your
no
successes or anything
accountability
and
for
stuff.
his behaviors. Everything is always somebody else's fault, victim blaming.
Happening
Like,
to
I
me.
didn't. This is happening because of you.
Okay.
That type of shit.
Okay, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's always been a thing that the men in my life, my father, my grandfathers, stuff like that, have always told me to. The one thing that you can do as a man, besides telling the truth or anything like that, is just own up to what you've done. Like at the end of the day, just eat it on the chin. And as bad as it sucks, as much as it hurts, as hard as it is to swallow, I think it's better for everybody, because at the end of the day, no matter how bad it is, people can always look back on it and be like, I know that if I go ask Ray about this thing or whatever, I know I'm going to get the right thing, no matter if he did it or not. So anyways, yeah, that's great.
So, to sum all this up,
yeah
I think we need to get out of this toxic narrative that's going on, that like anytime somebody shows genuine affection, desire, intention, that they're a fucking narcissist and that they're love bombing you. Because I think there's also this weird shit about like the feminine energy and the masculine energy playing into this whole conversation, where it's just like, oh, if you're a woman, all you got to do is receive. You don't like have to be hyping up men. Don't give them compliments.
Yeah.
Don't feed their ego.
Don't pursue them.
For me, I'm like, if I'm into it, I'm gonna let him know. If you're doing something right,
that's the truth.
I'm gonna let you know. Like, how is a man going to know that they're on the right fucking track if you're just gonna be like not saying anything? Right.
And this has also gone, towards the men, and a lot of men these days. I've got several friends now that they don't want to pursue anymore. It's tough. They're not really like not going up at the bar and walking up to them and talking. That's fine. But I mean, as far as like pursuing is, always chasing and always like trying to set up dates. Like, I've got my one friend who has tried to set up dates with a couple of people, and they're always down to go out to the club and meet them at the club. But when it comes down to like riding electric bikes in downtown or something, they don't want to do it, and he's like, well, I'm out here trying to have a whole ass girlfriend, and it's great to make out with these chicks at the club and stuff. He's like, but then I end up snapping them and let's trying to make plans, and I'm just getting ghosted. It makes him feel like shit. It makes him wonder why he doesn't get what he's doing wrong. Yeah, and you're not getting rejected at the club when the drinks are flowing and the music's there, but you're getting rejected in like an intimate way when you're trying to spend some one-on-one time. And I'm sure a lot of guys are going through that, and failure sucks, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and getting the same result.
Yeah.
So I think that the whole battle against love is there. It's there. It's in full swing right now. And that sucks, because the ones that are on the love side, we're loving it, right? It's great over here on this side.
There's so many skeptical people out there right now, I think, that is also playing into it. It's like you're just walking into shit like waiting for the ball to drop, or just like going into it with such a negative attitude that like there is no hope for from the beginning.
Ooh, babe, that's going to be the name of our enemy arch nemesis podcast.
What?
It's going to be Love Skeptics.
Oh.
Hey, if you're out there right now, I swear, let's go. Corazon Chronicles.
It's easy to blame other people for when shit goes
Especially
down.
if you love yourself. You're like, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if they don't like me, it must be something of my physical appearance. It must have nothing to do with how I talk or whatever, you know.
Yeah, or even like who you're pursuing.
I think with these terms, you have another one, right? I think that like with these terms and stuff that we're going through, a lot of this stuff, like you said, with people online and stuff, is really just regurgitated information. You know, these people go and listen to a podcast or two, and next thing you know, they're at work talking about love bombing and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think that people should at least know a little bit more about what they're talking about.
I think we should give folks some signs just to like make sure that you're not accidentally classifying something as love bombing when it's actually not.
I'm here for this.
Okay, so obviously it's going to vary person to person, but I'm going to give you 9 different signs to be on the lookout for.
9,
okay.
Hell yeah.
So number 1 is they give you excessive compliments, and I want to, you know, expand on that.
Oh, your hair's so pretty. Your jacket, this is such a nice jacket. Oh my God, your earrings, those I've really never seen those. Your eyebrows are perfect. God, your smile is so great.
You're ridiculous. Okay, so obviously, you know, everybody likes to receive compliments, but if your partner is going overboard and like complimenting you nonstop, this could be a little bit of a red flag, because love bombers use this tactic so that your self-esteem and your self-worth become connected to their opinion.
Ooh, that could be toxic.
That's very tricky, right? Because then if your self-esteem is connected to their opinion, when their opinion changes and they're like, oh, have you always worn that size? Oh, what's up with your hair?
The mental warfare begins.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. So you can see how that shit can go like
this is
fucking
like
spiral.
This is the spider web, right? This is crazy.
Yes. Okay, so number 2, they want to spend time with you non-stop. Now, if someone is trying to spend an unreasonable amount of time with you, regardless of the obligations and commitments that you have to other people, this could be a sign they're anxiously trying to move as quickly as possible for you.
Trying to get you to like cancel plans and stuff.
Like if they want you to like skip out on your family functions or your work obligations, or you're missing other things that you used to do because you are spending so much time with this person, it's a problem, right? So let's say you stop going to the gym, even though you were going to the gym 4 times a week, or you used to have a weekly date with your girlfriends, and all of a sudden they're like, but you don't want to spend time with me, like that type of shit. Right. That's a sign.
I think with you and I, we've done pretty good about letting each other have like, not even really, it's not even letting, you know, it's just like there's not really a problem, you know, when you're going to go have a lunch date or whatever the case is, or I'm going to go out with my buddies and stuff like that. It's never really been like a problem. Yeah, you know, and then we give each other space when the other person's out doing their thing. But even though
we also love spending time together too. Yeah. So it's not like a thing, you know?
And eventually, I guess, you know, we'll hang out in like a group setting or something. But it is nice to have 2 different friend groups of like,
I've always had that too.
You can go do your thing, I can do my thing. It's nice. I think that keeps it healthy.
I think so. You definitely should not be like losing your identity as an individual in a relationship. Like whoever was there before this person should still be allowed to be there, right? And you do not have to be up each other's ass 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Jannese doesn't have any guy friends, and I don't have any girlfriends. So, I mean, I have one girlfriend kind of, but she's the girlfriend / baby mama of one of my guy friends, and they live together and stuff. She's great. But other than that, I don't have like a woman that I confide in, like, hey, I'm going to go to the beach with
I'd have a
Lindsay
fucking problem
today.
with that. No, like, no
crazy.
way. I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah. You guys navigate that on your own, okay?
That's me being Latina.
Yeah.
Okay?
Same.
Anyways, okay, so number 3, they go overboard with expensive gifts. Now, when your partner gives you gifts that feel over the top and lets you know how expensive they are, that is a love bomb.
Yeah.
Because this can be a ploy to guilt you into staying with them or feeling a sense of obligation to them since they've given you such nice things.
I got you Taylor Swift tickets. They were $1,200.
Yeah, and I had to like, you know, fight people in the fucking street for them. Yeah, you know, just like super ridiculous.
Oh, this is great.
Okay, number 4, they introduce you to important people early on. Love bombers might introduce you to people who are important to them, such as children, family, or close friends, quickly after meeting. This could be for a couple of reasons. It could be because they have a sense of abandonment stemming from childhood. It could be because they have abusive relationships and were captive, and so they perpetuate the same thing and try to keep someone captive after they're hooked. Like by, you know, I've seen that with my friends who are single moms who then get into a relationship and there's this guilt of like, oh my God, but they bonded with this person. What am I going to do? They've helped raise them since they were 6 months old and now they're 14. And how am I going to break up this relationship even though you know this shit's fucking toxic?
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot and I hate that.
Same. I have seen that. I even saw that with my mom when I was growing up. She had a boyfriend for his name was Joe, and man, he must have been there maybe 6 or 7 years. But I remember specifically, I came down on a spring break. They were going through it. They were still living together, but they were going through it. And then 2.5, 3 months later, I came down for my summer break, and they had separate places, but they were like, he was still coming over to my grandmother's house. Like, you know, he and I were still going out to like the movies and stuff. Like, they were trying to hold on, I guess, because of me, because he and I got along so well. And then that happened for like maybe one more visit. And then after that, it was ghosting, you know. But I think she had found another man too at that time. So.
Yeah.
But I got to see that firsthand. I'm like, oh, you guys are together because of me? This is weird. I'm not even here all the time.
Dad,
I'm not even here all the time. I'm here 6 weeks out of the summer. This is crazy. All right.
Yeah, this is what we do in love.
Hey, I respect it.
Okay. So number 5, they mold themselves to be who they think you want. In some cases, a love bomber might purposefully try to morph into your perfect match by always agreeing with everything that you say or everything that you want to do. The key here is that this behavior is not really who they are or even who they seem to be when we first met. You may notice inconsistencies in what they said when you first met versus how they act now.
Ooh, so it's a sales pitch.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I didn't I say this in the beginning of our relationship? There would be times I'd be like, no sales pitch.
Yes.
So funny, man. Oh my God.
The sales, it's like, oh, you love hot yoga, even though this person literally has never fucking stepped into hot yoga.
I do that too.
Yeah, I've been doing it for like 7 years.
You know, babe, actually, I didn't even tell you. But I've been doing Zumba this entire time. I'm really good at Zumba.
God. I want to know who your instructor is, because
it's a personal trainer. It's YouTube classes I'm doing YouTube. You know that guy on YouTube?
Yeah, that guy. Okay. Number 6, they say I love you very fast. It usually takes time for people to fall in love and feel comfortable enough to say that. While it varies from couple to couple, the average time someone takes to confess their love is like 3 months, whereas a love bomber might say it in like days or weeks.
What was our timeline on that?
It was like a month.
Okay.
No.
Not a month
before you.
Not a month from when we first met. It was a month after you came back around.
No.
A month after we first met?
It was like 6 weeks maybe.
Damn.
Yeah, so maybe we were like a little, you know. But it varies, babe. It does.
You know, I was just thinking to myself today that the woman that I met has completely morphed into this controlling, like, I am held captive, folks. I don't want to do this podcast. I'm shackled to the floor right now, yo. You don't even understand.
Oh my God. I'm just going to turn this shit off.
See what I mean? Now, come get me, please.
Jesus Christ. Okay, if it feels too soon or too good to be true, it probably is. Even though things progressed with us quickly, it was mutual.
Yeah, it was very natural.
It wasn't like
nothing was forced.
And I feel like you were kind of hesitant about saying it back because you wanted to say it in person. Because when we first said it, I think it was via text.
Oh, right. Okay, I do remember this. Yeah, that I just wanted to make sure everything was legit, you know. So I just wanted to, even though things were going pretty fast, but at also like a natural pace, I still wanted to kind of, you know, take things a little bit slow, you know, just make sure that things do work out because, you know, life is crazy, shit does happen and things do change. So, but so far it's been great. It's gotten better the more that we've gotten to know each other too. It's like the puppy love is kind of just morphed into like the puppy love, like you're in love with the idea of the person, but like once you transfer it into the fact that like this person is actually, you know, who I want to be with, and like I love this person for who they are, it just keeps getting better. There's not really anything where I'm like, I don't know, man, she snores like a grown man. She snores really bad at night. I don't know if I can do this, you know, like it's a deal breaker. There's nothing like that, you know? No bad breath, no body odors, nothing like that. We're good. You know, I'm a pretty clean, I like things pretty clean, so.
Same. Okay, this is good. So, you know, I do want to like just the whole timeline thing about how quickly you should like feel things or say things, that is like totally gonna be up to y'all.
Yeah, there's
I
no
think
equation for it.
it's so important that y'all are on the same wavelength, right? If like there's one person who's like, I'm in love with you, and the other person's just like, okay, you know, like obviously you're not on the same fucking page.
Right. And like I said, it's okay to pump somebody's brakes.
Yeah.
It's you're not, don't feel bad about slowing someone down because you're just saving yourself and you're saving their feelings too. You're protecting them from getting too ahead of themselves.
Right. Okay, number 7. They guilt trip you for having boundaries. A love bomber might get upset or guilt trip you if you set up a boundary, such as asking them to move slower in a relationship, or if you tell them that you don't feel ready to say I love you back yet. However, they might say something like, oh, I thought we had something special. Or I thought you were different, but I guess you're just like everybody else.
Jeez. I would get out of there probably, folks. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'd be like,
The guilt trip for me is a fucking red flag.
Right. And listen, folks, the way you do some things is the way you do most things. And if they're going to act like that over something small and petty at the beginning of the relationship, I mean, you can only imagine what it's going to look like when, you know, shit hits the fan and you guys are together, living together. Like, this person might not be stable enough to take the shit that life has to throw at them. You know, some people break down really quick. Other people can kind of figure it out. But some people break down really easily, and you want somebody that's going to be strong, that can handle shit that comes at them in life on their own. And then, yeah, so.
Yeah, very good. Okay, number 8, they commit to you super quickly. I think I might be sort of guilty about this shit, but it's fine. If a love bomber commits to you as a boyfriend or girlfriend very shortly, it can be a red flag.
It was the first 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
No, it was the day we met on the app. She's like, I'm deleting the app. I found what I want. And I said, whoa, love bomb. The love bomb sirens are going off. She was like, you want my number? Because I'm just going to text you. And then I'm deleting the app because I found what I want. This is it. I love when the algorithm gives me what I want.
Listen, there's a difference between knowing what you want and lacking boundaries and lacking awareness, or just being a perpetual relationship whore.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because somebody who's going to commit to quickly is going to commit to anything quickly. They're not going to have any kind of discernment about what the type of person that they choose.
Sure.
So I think it's just important. Like, if somebody commits to you quickly after having a long string of singleness, because it's just like, oh, well, I haven't met somebody like you and I want to lock you down. I think that's different than like somebody who's just like, I just have like 17 fucking exes.
Yeah, that could be problematic.
You know,
right? Everybody's met the parents and stuff. You're like, damn. You're like, so you start to come around, and your parents have met 2 people.
Yeah.
Same with mine, right? And so it's like, that's just one of those.
You're number 3.
Yeah, same. Yeah, you're number 3 as well too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's. I feel like the one chick Statler on the 90 Days, she probably has a ton of exes.
A ton.
My God, it's crazy.
And they probably all have the same like.
And she loved all of them.
Story. Yeah, they were all.
She wanted to get married with everybody.
Yes.
It's great.
All right, and last but not least, number 9, they want to move in ASAP. While moving together is obviously a part of a relationship, it typically comes further down the line as you have like figured out, are you compatible? Do you like spending this much time together? Are you, both clean?
I will give a timeline on that, I would say.
What is the timeline? Wait, hold on.
Okay, sorry.
So the difference between, normal people and love bombers is that they try to move in with you early as a way to manipulate you, because they want to basically like infiltrate your life.
Right. They want, if you're living together.
Control thing.
Yeah, if they're living together, they're going to be like, you're going to go out with your friends? No
yes,
way.
It's much easier to manipulate and control you when they're in your physical space.
I think a good time frame, even though we've been saying this whole time, move at your own pace, stuff like that. The people that have moved in right away, I would say like within the first 6 months to a year that moved in right away, you don't really know someone until you've lived with them, right? So I think that the right way to do it, the people that have done that I've seen don't really tend to work out, or there's some differences on how some people operate versus the other person, whether it's sleep schedules or whatever. I think that a good way to kind of break that in is just, kind of start staying with each other at each other's places, a couple times a week, stuff like that. Maintain your spots. You need to always have a spot to go to. And then I think, if after a year of maybe 2-3 times a week, 4 times a week, if you guys are spending that many, many nights together, I think it's kind of time to start talking about the finances aspect and being like, look, one of our places is sitting empty all the time. There's things you can do, Airbnb, all that stuff, but it's like, hey, I'm paying $1,800 a month at this place. You're paying $1,800 at your place. If we can join that together, we're saving money. We're already pretty much living together. I think
we
that's
enjoy each other's company.
Yeah,
like I never want anybody to move in together for just strictly financial
that's
reasons.
not the move.
Because if you can't, I'm always like, if you can't afford to pay for the place by your damn self,
Right.
you should not be living there with somebody else, because you just never know. And then the last thing you want is to be trapped in a financially abusive relationship where like now you can't get out because shit, I can't pay this rent by myself.
Yeah.
And I know that was something that benefited me in my divorce. Like when I was looking for a house, you know, before, when we were still married, I was like, I want to know that I can pay this shit by myself if I had to. And I have been having to do that for the past, you know, over
since you moved
about
in?
a year now. And it's honestly like a really empowering place to be, because you know that you're in that environment with that person out of pure like desire, and it's not out of obligation.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, because anytime you start to let something like anything negative weigh on the relationship, that's why I'm really big about having conversations in our relationship and stuff too. Anything that holds negative energy is going to start weighing on the relationship, and if it goes unspoken, it's going to manifest and bubble on underneath the surface, and eventually it's going to pop like a volcano, right? And all of a sudden there's going to be so much shit that's been attached to this one source of negativity. They're like, I don't like the way you shower, or I don't like the way you wash dishes. It could get crazy, you know. It can get very petty if someone starts to feel a little bit of resentment. Resentment is the devil. It's not good.
Oh, that's a relationship killer for sure.
If you feel resentment for anything, you need to talk about it and get it handled, and because it will kill you guys.
Yeah,
like the relationship, it will kill you.
Especially when you move in together. Like those little things do add up, right? If you have like completely different philosophies on like how to cook, how to clean, how to pay the bills, like, you know, even shit like what fucking paint colors to paint your house, like everything can become a point of contention if y'all just don't know how to have conversations.
100%.
So it's just like, at the end of the day, communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship. And when you're dealing with a narcissist or a love bomber, that communication is going to feel off. It's not going to feel like reciprocal. It's not going to feel like there's actually some sort of compromise that's possible. It's going to be just manipulation, control, and all the shit that, you know, you don't want as part of a relationship.
I think it really boils down to the fact that they have an agenda. There's an ulterior motive. So if someone is giving you those vibes, if their behavior and how they're talking to you and their actions and all that stuff, if they feel like, whoa, you have some type of agenda going on, maybe you should dissect and try to see if maybe they are love bombing you. And then also look at your life and see what they're trying to gain out of that. Are they trying to get control of you? Are they trying to get like into your finances? Like, you got to figure out what's going on. Are they trying to live with you because they're broke and they don't want to pay their rent, so they're just looking for somebody to kind of mooch off of? It can get very deep too. So
yeah.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yeah,
that was a good segment.
Watch out for the narcissist, y'all. Watch out for the love bombing, but, you know, make sure that you're not trying to be a fucking psychoanalyst also on every single person, because just this whole blanket, you know, prophesizing on people is just kind of whack.
Everybody's a therapist now. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the Reddit thread, there's another topic that has kind of been weighing on both of us a little bit. And it's this idea of like, why do we go back? Why do we go back to shit when somebody shows you who they are the first time?
Yeah.
And we both have scenarios in our past relationships where we've been done dirty. We had every reason not to go back. Everybody around you is like, bitch, are you crazy? Like, what the fuck? And you end up going back and the same shit happens again, or even worse.
Right.
And that's the final straw, right? Like, why isn't the first time the last time for a lot of people? And I know plenty of folks, you know, including, I talked to my sister about this too, because she has her own relationship story. And you can hear more about that on the Watch Us Thrive podcast. Shout out to you.
Hey, shout out to you, girl.
And, you know, awesome. She had been experiencing physical abuse. And when I asked her, like, okay, how many times did this shit happen before, like, it actually ended up him getting arrested and the whole shit? And it was like 3 or 4 times.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, as someone who's never been physically abused, the idea of letting somebody punch me in the face more than once, can't fucking wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
But I'm also the person that allowed my ex to cheat on me multiple times.
Right.
When, if it was me objectively looking out at somebody, the first time somebody, you know, one of my friends would tell me, oh, he cheated on me, well, like, bitch, leave. So what is it about, like, you going through the thing that makes you, like, blind to how, like, serious the situation
It's
is?
got to be love, right? It's got to be love. Love is crazy.
Mental illness.
Maybe. I don't know if that's maybe. I know I have my own mental illnesses, but
maybe it's not love. Maybe it's like fucking delusion.
well, love makes us do crazy things.
It does.
And love clouds our judgment. There's 1,000 sayings, right? So I know in my experience as well too, you know, I had no business going back. It just was no good for anybody. My mom was like on the verge of like not talking to me because of it, you know, but I'm just like head down. I know love, and I'm gonna, you know, make this work, and it's fine. You know, she didn't really mean it. Yeah, she didn't really mean it, and you know, you end up fighting and trying to make it better, you know, and try to sell that person to everybody else that saw them do you dirty. So I think that it's, you know, love makes us blind. It's, you know, just how it is, you know, and I think that it takes like a drastic event, like it happened with you, like it happened with me, it happened with your sister. I think it takes a drastic event to like really sit back and be like, wow, this person literally does not give a fuck about me. As far as like, they might tell me to my face that they love me, they might show me with, you know, actions and stuff like that. But when it comes down to like when something's bad or you're upset and like you resort to these tactics and just like real cruel and you try to mess people's situations up and stuff. You know, if someone tries to hurt you in any type of way, love makes you do crazy things. And unfortunately, these people can get to the point where they love you so much, they get so frustrated so much that they don't know how to handle it. They just freak out and they end up doing some shit. And then once they calm down, a few days later, they come back around. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You know, whatever.
That's abusive, though. Like,
it is. It's a cycle.
The cycle of abuse is absolutely, that's what that is, what you're describing. And I think, you know, maybe it's just kind of one of those things where, like, it's the horse with the blinders on, where it's just like, it feels normal. The dysfunction feels normal after a while. It's almost like you learn how to survive it. You learn how to just, like, navigate.
You start to enjoy the good as much as you can because, you know, you're just going to have to deal with some bad. It's almost like this is a trade-off. It's almost like a business transaction. I know I'm going to have to pay taxes, right? That's like the taxes of those relationships. It's like, man, I'm having a great time at dinner or out with our friends, but I know that she's drinking.
You hang on to those.
And I know when I get home, I'm going to have to pay the tax on this relationship. She's going to freak out. She's going to do something. And that's just no way to live. I wonder, I didn't really grow up in a physically abusive household, but you know, my stepmom never would really like come around and apologize and whatever. She just was what it was. But I wonder with parents that abuse their children, I wonder if they're doing that tactic, you know, if they're like, no, they do whatever they do. And then later on or something, they're like, hey, you know, you want some McDonald's or something, like some fucked up shit like that. I know I've seen people do that with animals too, you know, like freak the fuck out because they peed on the carpet. And then like 10 minutes later, they feel bad, right? And then they're over there trying to cuddle the cat and the cat's just like fucking shaking. Like they can't trust you, you know?
If you were abused, you know, more than likely you're going to, you know, unless you get therapy and whatever, you might attract people that feel familiar, which would be abusive people. Right. So it's also like, it's up to us to have that self-awareness and to do the inner work to realize, like, what the fuck am I attracting? Why is this happening? And it always obviously comes back to your childhood and whatnot. And we talk more about that on the episode around like, how are your parents affecting your relationships? But I think, you know, looking back objectively now, being out of that emotionally abusive relationship that I was in, it's just like, you just tell yourself shit to talk yourself out of what's the reality. Like for me, it was kind of just like, I was being manipulated by a narcissist, you know, and gaslit or like made to think like what I was thinking was not actually what was happening. I was really convinced that like I was the problem. I was just too much. I was too demanding. I was not supportive. I was too naggy, you know, complain too much. And it was just like, no, actually, it's not okay for your fucking husband to be out till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Facts, or like not even coming home at all.
And
It's fucked.
not coming home at
Yeah,
all,
that's
or
fucked.
disappearing, or your phone's off for 12 hours,
Yeah,
or
that's crazy.
you know, but it's like you just around the right person that knows how to manipulate you.
Mhm.
And when you've been broken down so much, it's very easy to just be fucking manipulated.
Yeah, and let's not forget, you know, this person is the person that is closest to you. This
Yeah.
is the person that is the most inside that someone can get. I don't have my parents very inside. I don't have, you know, the two closest people in my life are still not that inside.
Yeah.
You know, Jannese is the most inside, and even like from my best friend Rich, like we're like brothers. There's still certain things. So this person that's the closest to you that you've let in with all your guard down, you know, which is what you're supposed to do. You should be able to do that. Should be a safe place. That should be something that that person cherishes and tries to protect. And then once that person takes that and runs with it and does whatever they do, you know, you want to see the best in that person. Maybe you do see the best in that person. And then like you see these things happen and you're just like, I know this is no good, but I also know that the person has the potential to be a really good person. I've seen it, whatever. And there's a lot of self-justification that happens, and all of a sudden you, like you said, you trick yourself, you know, to forgive this person. Plus it doesn't help that they're over here with the words of magic to be like, no, this is the problem, or you're the problem, or it'll never happen again, whatever people can say to get you to be like, no, okay, it's fine, I forgive you.
I think it also, some of fear of like the unknown or like starting over definitely plays in, you know, especially if it's like a long ass relationship. Like you're like, oh my God, I'm going to start over at like after 15 years or something. Like, fuck that. You don't even know what that looks like.
And you have all the memories with that person too. You know, I'm a big memories guy. I like pictures and stuff. And it's like one of those things that, like, unfortunately with my exes, it's like I don't really look back on the things that we did, more of like the era of my life that I was in, but I don't look back, or I don't have pictures.
Reminisce.
No, it's none of that, because they've just fucked it up. You know? Which sucks to not be able to look back on certain parts of your life when you were genuinely pretty happy. You know, there was good moments, you know, and it's like you don't even remember them because it's outweighed by all the bad.
Yeah, you know, I think the thing that sucks too about being the person that like sticks around after the first time is like once your friends and family know what has gone down, now you gotta take on this additional responsibility of fucking defending your decision and defending this person. And they're never gonna look at them the same.
Never.
They're always gonna be like public enemy number one.
Yeah, might not even want them around.
And what that does, unfortunately, oftentimes is that isolates y'all and allows you to now be even more manipulatable or more controllable, because now it's like, fuck, my friends and family don't even want to fuck with me because of this person.
Right.
You're my only person. Like, you're the only support I have. And if you're with a fucking narcissist, gosh, you've just given them the fucking golden platter here. Do whatever you want, because now it's just me and you against the world.
Damn.
Bonnie and Clyde shit.
Yeah, I got you on my keychain now. That's it. You are my rabbit's foot.
You know, so I think that's where shit gets real dicey, because it's like it's like a way heavier lift now trying to justify the decision and then defend this person always when you're out with people who are like, oh, we know who you really are.
You know, sad to say, folks, unfortunately, these are lessons that we all have to go through. You know, it'd be very rare for someone to go through life and having a relationship, or any relationship in general, and not go through some type of hurt or something. You know, I know in a perfect world, that's what we would all want, but I think that in the pain, later on in life, you kind of get to use that pain and stay away from it. You only touch the stove once, right? So you have to deal with these people. You have to go through what you go through, but then you end up on the other side, a way better person to yourself, and you know how to guard yourself, and you know who you want around you, and that is going to make you a better person. And at the end of the day, that's going to make you a better person for the person you end up being with. So I think that as bad as it does suck, maybe some of you younger viewers out there and stuff, or people that are restarting, as bad as it does suck, you're going to have to cut your teeth a little bit. And, you know, love comes with pain. It's just what it is. You know, it's some of the best feelings in the world, and it's some of the worst feelings in the world too. So that's that's my goal on that.
I
That's
love
my
it.
raise rant.
Don't give up, y'all. Don't give up.
No, never
That's
that.
the moral of the story.
Yeah.
And I always say I wouldn't change anything. The way my life has gone down had to happen the way it happened for us to be here today.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Absolutely. I agree the same way. We were actually just talking to your mom about that too. And because your parents have been together for so long, and she was, giving us their story, which would have been great to have on the podcast.
Oh, she's going to be on the show. Don't worry.
Okay, good. So you guys will be able to get that whole story. It's a beautiful story, but those people are just so connected. Your parents are so connected. They've been through so much. They've built this whole life together. They have,
seen each other evolve into like 30 different versions.
Yeah, hell yeah. And countless memories and countless more to go too. It's crazy, and I just love that. I think that that's something that should be very respected, and it's a very high value couple right there as far as their communication and their connection and stuff. They know each other inside and out.
I think we could use more advice from the older folks who've kind of done this shit, That's one of the things. Rao Alejandro came out with a new song, basically like professing his love one last time to Rosalia. And one of the lyrics in the song says, couples nowadays don't last. We need more advice from the older folks to help us understand like how to make these relationships work.
Yes.
And he's so right. Y'all talk to your elders, okay? Especially the grandparents, the parents who've been together for 40 plus years, the ones that actually still like each other, because we all know there's couples out there who just have not gotten divorced, even though they should have, because they're fucking toxic. But
separate bedrooms and stuff.
And abuelitos that are like still grabbing each other's asses at the family barbecue, like talk to those people because they obviously have figured it out. They got the secrets.
Yeah, I'm here for that energy. I'm so here for that energy.
All right, babe, I think it's time to hop into our Am I the Asshole Reddit thread for this week.
Okay, I am not going to read the whole thing, folks, because it is literally maybe
it's a novel.
Paragraphs. But we read it together before, and we had to go through a few of them, and some of them were pretty juicy. But this one, I wanted to kind of go down, instead of someone cheating on somebody or something like that, I wanted to go down the path of co-parenting, parents that have to deal with like legal battles with their child and stuff like that, because I kind of grew up in that, and it's not on the same spectrum of cheating, but it carries the same weight because they end up using the child as a tool and stuff like that, and it can get very nasty, maybe even nastier than even just cheating on somebody, because now you're bringing in a whole ass another human being that has to witness this and stuff like that. So anyways, I'll give you guys a little rundown through basically what this woman went through. So she met her ex, her baby daddy, when she was 18 and he was 19. They end up going to college together, and then right around when she turned 23, she found out she was pregnant. When she found out she was pregnant, he did not want the child at all. He was like, look, I'm getting ready to graduate, start my career with whatever he's got going on.
He was going to medical school.
Okay. And he came from a wealthy background as well too. So, she grew up, in kind of a rough background. Her father has mental illness, stuff like that. So her family's not affluent like his family is. So anyways, after begging him to be a part of the baby's life and stuff, because she wasn't going to get an abortion, his family ended up reaching out to her and saying, look, we are going to give you monthly installments and basically going to pay you off for him not to be a father. He's got too much going on. We'll just give you a check. And it is what it is. You don't have to worry about it. You'll get a check every month on the same day until the child is 18, whatever.
Why do I feel like this is not the first time these people do this?
Oh, rich families. This is how they do it, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. These folks get a lot of stuff done. They make DUIs disappear and shit. So anyways, at first she said no. She called them assholes and told them that the baby was going to have a dad. She wanted him to be around even if it was going to be split custody. I don't think at this time they were obviously not going to be together. So anyways, she took sole custody. It's been 7 years, right? Raising this little girl. And every month she's been getting a check on the same day, never late, nothing like that, right? So the family kept their word, as they should. Well, he popped up on the 7-year-old's birthday, and he says he's ready to be a father now. He wants to fight for custody. He wants joint custody. He wants to split visitation. And, as far as the monthly payments, she didn't really get into if that's going to keep going or not. I would assume it probably would.
I don't know. I bet he would be like, nah, I'm going to be a dad so you can get no money.
Well, it's not his money, right? It's
That's
the
true.
grandparents. So
True.
maybe the grandparents they just have a trust fund for the baby already, and it's just probably coming out of there or something, right? So, anyways, so with her family and friends, they were giving her advice, right? At first, her family and friends. I'll go back. Sorry, when she first said no to the money, and she had to get advice from all her family and friends to be like, look, you're going to be a single mother, and they're offering to do this. You don't have to go through the legal battles and worry about garnished paychecks and stuff, which is sometimes could be $90 a month. If the guy's a bartender, you're not going to get any money.
Yeah.
So anyway, she ended up taking the money. He ends up coming back around. And she is fighting tooth and nail to keep him from the child. Now, her question to the Reddit thread is, am I the asshole for keeping the father of my 7-year-old from being a father? And I think I'm going to get your feedback on this, but I think that she's not in the wrong for feeling that way, but I don't think that she's in the wrong for feeling that way. But I do. Unfortunately, he is the father, right? And he does want to come back around. I guess he got a little bit older, more mature, stuff like that. I feel like everybody has the right to at least try to step up. Sometimes it's when they're young like this. Sometimes it's when they're older, So I'm kind of mixed on it, but I don't think that he should have, 1 week on, 1 week off. Maybe he gets her for, a Friday and Saturday a couple times a month or something. It's kind of a sticky situation, I know that she's getting the money every month. Maybe that's adding to her not wanting him to be around. Maybe that there's a contingency on, we're going to pay you the payments until he's ready to come back around. And then once he comes back around, he'll just take it on himself and you guys figure it out. I don't know. So, there was a couple of updates on there, but no updates on the fact that where they've gone or anything. She was just kind of answering questions because it was so long. She went into so much detail about how she grew up and stuff. But what are your thoughts? What would you do? I mean, you're someone in your family, I won't get into the details, but you do have somebody in your family who has a similar situation, right? The person, signed away the rights, stuff like that. And I guess he did come back before, and that's when he signed away the rights or something. But what do you think this girl should do? This is should he be? I mean, if he's a good guy, it sounds like he's probably a doctor and stuff.
I don't think he's a good guy though, because a good guy doesn't fucking renege on his.
She's so triggered.
his responsibility of being a dad and just come back around because I have the time now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm petty as fuck. I'd be like, no,
damn,
you're not entitled. Who are you to come in here and start trying to have a relation? The little girl has literally never met this man.
Right.
You're legit in her head. You're leaving me with a stranger. You might say he's my dad.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know this guy.
Right.
And then it's what is that message sending to her daughter? Just accept the affection of any man who just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I guess it does get pretty deep like that, right? Because no matter what, when I was going through a little bit of that, I was always so happy to see my mom. I never had any resentment towards my mom for not being there or whatever the case is. I never felt like she gave me up or anything. So I was always happy to see her, regardless of what was happening, no matter what type of legal issues she put my dad through, which was a lot. He has a lot of resentment in his heart towards that woman for that. So I would assume that from the little girl's perspective, it's probably a little different because, the little girl with the mom, they're going to be a little bit closer. I was pretty close with my dad too. So I wonder if the little girl's like, yeah, I would love to meet my dad. Cause some kids are like that. And then other kids are like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. I guess I would probably lean on the little girl cause she's old enough to make a rash decision like that.
Well,
I'd be like, do you want to meet
right?
Yeah. But I'd be like, do you want to meet your real dad? Is that something that you want to do? You want to wait until, later on down the road when you're more grown? You want to wait till you're in the double digits, then we can revisit the idea. But I think I would kind of leave it up to her because at the end of the day, she's going to be the adult that's carrying all this trauma with her. And I think that it would do a lot to at least come at her like an adult a little bit and be like, hey, I know this is a tough decision, but do you want to get to know your dad? I don't know what type of shit he's on or what he's got going on. I don't know, how he is, but is that something you want to do? She might be like, yes, or she might be like, no, I don't fucking know the guy,
Okay, so as someone who has multiple friends who are single moms and has watched that play out in a lot of different forms, I would feel like if it was me, I'd be hella resentful.
Would you leave it up to the little girl's decision though, or no? Would you let her have any weight?
I mean,
would you ask her at least, or?
I would ask her. And I do have a friend who has been in a very similar situation. Her daughter is, I want to say like 9 or 10. And her father has been in and out of her life in various degrees over time. And she got to a point where she's like, I don't want to see dad anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to spend time with him anymore.
That's different.
Because, they didn't have a formal custody agreement, but it was kind of just like, you see her when you see her. And he started being the type of dude that was like, he would make plans to see her and then he wouldn't follow through. And I guess the little girl got tired of like being disappointed and
Sure,
shit.
yeah.
She's like, I'm not going to force my daughter to have a relationship with somebody.
Just letting her down.
Because that's her father. So I think in this case, it's almost like, yes, let them make a decision. But also, I think she might be too young to actually like know what she wants, right? And I want to say around the age of 13 is when you can actually decide to like advocate for yourself in that space of a custody situation.
Sense, yeah.
Because at that point, they're a little bit older. They can have a little more like, they're just capable of making like a more impactful decision around something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a mom, but I feel like if I was, I'd be a fucking really protective mom that would be like, fuck you. You're not having a relationship with your child.
Well, plus two, it's like a scorned woman too, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna be very scorned too. So that's where it gets tricky when it gets into the whole using the child as a tool thing.
Yeah.
Because I know, like you just said, you're over here hurt and you're like, no, fuck you. But I still think in that situation, I still think that you need to at least let the child feel like they have some type of say.
And let him show his ass, right? Like if he's going to be the type of dude that comes in and out of her life, let him do that to her.
Yeah.
Don't be the reason why she doesn't get to experience a relationship with him, because maybe he ends up being father of the year.
Yeah, he could come around and really be solid, and that might be cool. But then also the guys that do that, they kind of end up being like, look, I make $400,000 a year. I'm going to fucking take full custody. There's no reason why
that's
I can't
the thing.
have custody. They do that,
She's probably stressed out about that too, because she knows that he has the financial wherewithal to like literally take her ass to court.
Yeah,
and like
once he gets a little bit, once she grants him a little bit of custody, she opens the door for him to take that shit all the way to the courts. All the way.
It's hard. I think this is reminding me why I chose not to become a parent in my last, relationship in my marriage, because
you guys got
I could
close,
not
right?
even.
No,
it was never a thing.
Oh, it was way before. Sorry, my bad.
I've always been very wishy-washy about the idea of parenthood in general, and then when I see these stories and I've experienced like the child custody drama through my friends and family, I'm like, fuck this. Okay, this shit is crazy.
Plus, we're in our 30s, and it's nice to have freedom too, and I understand that having a child is a special thing, and it's a special feeling, and it's a special love, and that's great. I love that for the people that do that. I love that, and but it's never been something I've really truly craved too much, and I think that I always thought that might change once I fall in love with somebody, because that's usually what happens, right? You fall in love with somebody, you want to show your love by creating life with that person, and that's a beautiful thing too. But I just, like I said, there's people out there that have had kids for us. There's some people that have 5, 6, 7 kids, and you have no business having that many kids. So you've had kids for the people out here that have our own like financial freedom, and we can like take trips and like go to dinner, and we don't have to like buy the cheap stuff because we have 7 mouths to feed. I love that for us.
Yeah, and great. I think you have to also factor in like your own childhood experience, right?
Yeah,
if you grow up poor, the last thing that you want is to like maybe have a child when you're not 100% financially where you want to be, or even career wise or relationship wise or whatever. There could be so many different factors that play into like, is this the right time? And I know there's people that will say, well, there's never the right time. You're never going to be prepared.
Right.
But there's also like, I haven't been to XYZ countries yet, or I haven't gotten this, level of my career yet, or I want to pursue a degree or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the beauty of being human.
It's your life.
It's the decisions that you get to make.
Free will.
That's it. That's what differentiates us, right, from the rest of the species on planet Earth. And parenthood is it's a permanent thing.
Oh, it's forever. My dad just came down and he's always told me, because my sister, he got remarried and I have a sister that's 10 years younger than me, my only sibling. And he's always told me, like, son, if you ever have children, like, if you're going to have a couple of children, have them pretty much back to back within a couple of years of each other. That way, they get to grow up with each other. Yes. But it's more about you being able to get your life back. He's like, I left the house at 18, really. So he raised me to 18 from when he was 19. So he got me all the way there. He's 37, 38. And then my sister's 8 years old. Right.
So he's still, all over again.
He got a whole nother decade to go. Right. Yeah. She's just now in her sophomore year of college. And and he's tired. Like, when I saw him, I'm sure the bourbon and stuff doesn't help either. Shouts out to being successful. But, he's just tired. I can just see it on his face. He's been a parent for 2/3 of his life. It's crazy. And now he gets to go and live his life and enjoy his money. But man, it's tough that it took him till almost 50 to get there. And literally had to, like, 48, 49 was when my sister went to college, and he just had his 50th birthday.
And parenthood is not easy, whether you're in a committed relationship or you're, co-parenting with somebody that you used to be with. I think at the end of the day, yes, I think a child is entitled to a relationship with their parents, and they're two adults that are going to have to figure out how that relationship coexists. Because at the end of the day, that kid did nothing to
they didn't even
choose to be in this situation.
Right. They didn't even ask.
Right? Yeah, I guess you guys just kind of got to let shit play out how it's meant to play out and hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I absolutely loved this episode. Right, this was good. This is kind of juicy here. I'm loving our Reddit segment here. It's like, I'm gonna have to probably find another one too.
Oh no, we got to talk about the one with what happens when you find out that your friend is cheating on your other friend. We got to do that one.
Yeah. That the friend circle thing is wild, because it's like everybody's telling everybody's secrets and everybody's trying to keep loyal to each other, but like the tea is getting spilled left and right, and you're just like,
who you're supposed to be loyal to.
Yeah, that's actually Look forward to that on the next episode. I think the next episode we might just get into infidelity in general.
Yes.
What the causes of the infidelities are, why people do it, what's exciting about it, because there's a excitement aspect to it. If you're cheating with a coworker and blah blah blah, lunch breaks and da da da. So we'll get into that. Well, people have work husbands and work wives and work best friends too. It works that way too, and it's a crazy thing.
It's hella juicy. Oh, and we can talk about the new 90-Day Fiance, the last resort.
Yeah, that's
because
hilarious.
There's a lot of infidelity going on in that season. And,
the one dude gave his wife the
hall pass. We got to talk about the hall pass in the next episode.
The guy gave her a hall pass, and
I didn't even know that was really a thing.
Oh, well, you saw the movie, right?
I did, but I was like, this is a movie. This can't be fucking real life. Do people actually do this?
Yeah. So actually, I think that it's something that might be related to marriage counseling. I think that it's like a thing that's like, if you're okay with it or whatever. But the guy he gave her a hall pass. He went and got a blowjob from somebody, right? And then she ends up using it, and he didn't even know until they were sitting down in like the therapy session on the show. He starts crying. He's like, oh my God, like, I gave her the pass, but I didn't know that she. And then he said that morning he saw her texting the guy, like I guess they're having like some type of side relationship, and he knows that they're talking to each other.
Oh gosh, we are gonna break down infidelity and what it looks like, how to know when it's happening to you, because I have some fucking personal
facts,
information to share with y'all about that and much more. So
and I'll give you my thoughts on open relationships too.
Oh God, the whole pansexual polyamory thing. Oh, there's so much to talk about here.
Oh, good.
If you're loving all of this, please continue to tune in, share, subscribe, do all the things. If you want us to actually answer your question on the show, you can do a couple things. You can email us at corazonchroniclespodcast@gmail.com. You can DM us on Twitter at Corazon Pod. Or you can DM us on Instagram at Corazon Chronicles Pod. So there's lots of places for you to find us. Get in the DMs, send us an email, because we are actually answering your questions on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And the feedback has been great. I really love it. And yeah, you guys need to tune in next week because we're going to have a juicy episode. It might be like a 2-hour episode because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty deep subject.
There's a lot of shit to talk about.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Tune in next week and we will see you later. See ya.
Bye.